Really great having you on the interview.
Thank you very much, Daniel. I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to be also part of your website, which I find it very useful and a creative approach, which is needed very much for independent hotel owners. So I'm all for it, and I'm very happy to support your website, and I will also be very happy to promote it whenever I speak to hotel owners. Um, well, a little bit about myself, if I may introduce myself. Andreas Bourdon, that's actually a German-French combination here. Andreas is very much German, or quite popular in Germany, also in Greece, other countries. Bourdon is French, and this is based on my heritage. And now 45 years international hospitality history. Uh, that's my working experience, having worked in 16 different countries and currently based in Asia, where I own firm. I have worked for international brands previously, such as Marriott, Mandarin Oriental, Hotel Group, TUI Group, the largest travel group in the world, several leading hotels of the world, which are all considered very much five-star. The leading hotel affiliation, LHW, and there are predominantly five-star hotels listed as part of the leading hotels, which I have operated myself, at least three, if not four hotels in different positions. I'm now 25 years holding senior management positions, and I'm now the CEO of Deep Hospitality Solutions, which was founded in direct response to the Corona lockdowns. As you may remember, many countries were closed for well over 1 year, 2 years, some 2 years, some even 3 years, like China. And business has suffered greatly, especially the hotel business, must be pointed out. Everybody likes to call it hospitality business, but I would like to focus in this case more on the hotel business. The reason is hospitality includes restaurants, and restaurants were the ones who actually, in my opinion, pretty much struggled through this crisis, and they succeeded by coming up with delivery orders and alternative approaches. However, hotels in particular were dumbfounded and unable to generate business simply because was not allowed to patronize hotels in many countries, confined to a public area such as a hotel was not possible for guests. There was also no service. This is another story. There was no housekeeping service. Everybody was worried to catch the virus. There was no food and beverage service. People just left the tray outside your room in some cases and had to make up your own room. So it was very challenging time for the hotel business. That's the reason I came up with hospitality solutions, which was meant to support small independent hotel owners to deliver to them what responds to their greatest gains, let's call it. There is the Six Sigma process, which is kind of a process enhancement tool. Six Sigma, used actually previously by Motorola and GE, is a process improvement tool. And basically, we are here to find the solution for each different hotel owner in direct response to their, my opinion, profit loss statement. Everything can be read directly in the P&L, in the profit loss statement, and from there you can immediately highlight where are the pains coming from. Is it food and beverage? Is it rooms? Is it other income? Is it expenses? Yeah. And then, of course, there are also the review sides, not to forget. Reputation management is critical as well. And from there, we can see the perception, the marketplace for each property. So this is kind of white label consultancy firm, as we would like to refer to it. Some of my colleagues operate white label management. It's not exactly what we are doing in hospitality solutions, because we are looking at modules, modular approaches. For example, something to fix your food and beverage costs, because it's too high, then we will find a solution and will propose it to you as an owner, and we will propose time frame, mutually agreed, and usually with fees. So it's usually for a quite short time frame, starting from 1 month, anything from 1 month up to 3 months, in some cases even 6 months support, whereby visit property and provide on-site assistance. Let's say, for example, case of hotel openings. All right. Well, what we offer different from our competitors is white label tailor-made solutions rather than white label hotel management, which is usually a contract here more, whereby you're actually running the operation completely. Here only coming to address certain concerns, the prime concerns of the owner.
Right. So I can see that it's really tailored for each of the hotels.
If you visit our website, you will find many different modules, 6 different modules, including tailor-made by the owner, which is basically something what may not be listed, and owner says, I have a challenge, my maintenance expenses are too high, and we are using too much utilities in the hotel, some wastage and some loss, and I cannot figure out where is the challenge.
Right,
So
that's
we are very
when
specific.
that's when you come in and then you break down each of the challenges.
As I mentioned, I've been holding senior management positions for 25 years now, so you can see this on my hair loss, basically. And the experience is there. I mean, I have been a general manager for hotels, many different places previously, and I understand the hotel ins and out, from reservation point until checkout. Well, you listed one interesting question. What are the most common challenges that independent family hotel owners are currently facing?
Yes.
This is, I think, something different to each destination, I would say. May not be the same in every destination. For example, New Zealand may not be the same as Malaysia due to some maybe legislation. I mean, here, for example, tourism tax, I don't know, you have it in New Zealand. Manpower got to be the number one challenge in Malaysia, if not globally, or at least regionally in the hospitality industry. Salaries in the hospitality industry are not the highest, and working hours are not the most comfortable. So therefore, people choose, especially after the lockdowns and after the experience of what I've mentioned, Corona and all the impact of the industry, people diversified into other industries. Like, let's say, for example, delivery services, for example. This is just one of them. But digital, and that's very much what you are doing as well, Daniel, digital marketing industry, there is a lot of potential and a lot of future, in my opinion. So this is the right way to go. Another challenge is for independent hotel owners to stay competitive in the marketplace, because the big players such as Marriott, IHG, Accor, Hilton, Best Western, they all have a much diversified brand portfolio, I would call it, whereby they're now even going into Airbnb, believe it or not. Some of these big operators are even trying to tackle Airbnb, and they're definitely tackling also the independent. Well, they're swallowing them as well, from my experience. Just to give you an idea, Marriott has a brand, part of their portfolio, directly suitable to small independent hotels, and So has IHG, Vogue, for example. Vogue is the brand for IHG. And Accor also has their own brands. So I haven't got that all in my head right now, but I know for a fact that each of these big operators are now swallowing, let's call it, the small operators, which we are talking about here. And they're all becoming indirectly part of big chains. And they can most profit from their branding, affiliate to Marriott or Hilton, or whatever, IHG, and also their marketing and from their reservation system as well, in some cases. Even comes to technical support, even, training and standard operating procedures in some cases. So big players have the economy of scale, which small players don't have. So this is the issue here. From my experience, trying to deal with independent small hotel operators or managers or owners, let's call them, they're becoming lesser and lesser in the market because, again, they're now trying to affiliate with the big chains, which gives them more exposure and more brand identity. And this is the trend I see marketplace. So it's becoming the share, the pie is becoming smaller. Besides, many of them did close also. Some of them temporary, some of them permanently because of the economic crisis, which was followed the Corona lockdowns, which we are still today. Many countries have economic challenges. So has Australia, for example, the neighboring country. I'm not sure about New Zealand, but in Australia, there are definitely economic challenges right now. It's labor market issues.
Yep, so definitely depending on the regional locations, such as Southeast Asia, there's a lot of labor challenges.
Yes, but I believe it's a global challenge in our industry because we have not been the best after our people. That's the issue. And the big players here again, they have advantage. They have their corporate training, they have their corporate HR, their corporate support, and they usually are much better. And Marriott has been market leader previously when it comes to looking after the people, and now the latest one is Hilton. My information, Hilton Group is the number one employer worldwide, hotel business at least. Okay, so to modernize and digitalize is the other issue I see. The independent hotels do not see the priority or the urgency to modernize, upgrade the systems and digitalize. And they don't even talk about AI, the current trend happening. I think there is a lot of re-education necessary for these more competitive. The other thing is to be aligned with market trends, to observe the market, to study the market. They do not have capabilities such as the big players have to know exactly what's happening in the marketplace. Even new hotels coming up on the corner, you must be aware of the details, how much, how big, when will open. So market observation of the marketplace is extremely important. That's usually where they fall short, as well as reputation management, which is not TripAdvisor, but also Booking.com, other OTA websites which use. They should not be inspected on a daily basis, not twice a day, depending on the size of the property, but they should also be responded promptly, 24 hours, in a professional manner. I think that's usually not the case when it comes to.
So, in terms of studying the market and observing, you think independent hotels should invest more of their time into doing that? Maybe having some kind of a solution towards having a better understanding of the market?
Yes, there would be the possibility of market study, which we can provide to give them an updated review of the marketplace, including a rate strategy, and to see whether their hotel is properly positioned, and to help them to really to reposition the hotel, the marketplace itself. This also needs frequent use and update. There is, for example, a tool called online tool called OTA Insights, and there you actually monitor competitive set. I think 5 to 7 hotels they can be listed direct competitors, and then they will track their rates. All platforms, compare them directly to your rates and give you a dashboard which you can review every morning, twice a day, and 3 times a day as a revenue manager. And you will see the trends in the marketplace, and you have quick to respond and to adjust your rates. So basically, these have to be very flexible cases in order to compete.
Yes, so for the OTA Insights tool that will give us all the rates of our competitors, would it give us any recommendations as well, or would it be something that we have to decide ourselves?
It's usually OTA Insight is not like a channel manager in this case. It's more like a platform giving you the information, and then it's up to you how to respond to it. It will red flag certain areas. Yes, it will give you some red flags where maybe you're falling short, but the decision and it's up to the individual. Let's call it revenue manager or reservation manager or hotel management in general.
That's great. So in terms of if we have to come back to the labor issues, uh, do we think that independent hotel owners need to invest more in the training and uh, and maybe compensate their staff more?
Absolutely correct. You're spot on. Compensation is one issue, especially my current location here, Malaysia. Let's put it on the table. I have to say it straight out. When it comes to independent hotel owners, compensation, let's say when we compare it to other locations such as nearby Thailand or Singapore, it's far below, which is why there is a brain drain in this particular destination, and many are escaping, so to speak, and that's another challenge in finding people. Compensation is one, and development is another issue. Yes, there has to be ongoing training programs, well, and they should be tailored in direct relation to online group platforms. So in there we will find and by the way, there's another wonderful tool I like to mention here, which is Review Pro. And there are other competitors of Review Pro, but for many years, Review Pro was the number one tool when it came to reputation to see. Also, once again, against your competitor set, how well are you doing? And where are your greatest challenges in operation? And not even the operation, starting already from reservation points and transportation and farewell, everything in and out of the guest, you will find, and you can do semantics, you can search and do filtering of the reviews, and you can find trends once you have, let's say, finally you have, let's say, at least 50, if not 100 reviews in the respective review platforms like TripAdvisor.com and more, Expedia, and so on. And then this Review Pro tool, which you should register as a hotel owner, and then pay your dues, and you get the information. You can select your competitive set. You can directly benchmark, for example, your housekeeping services, your quality of hygiene, cleanliness, directly against your competitive set. How well are you doing? You will immediately find out where are the challenging areas you have to focus on. So I highly recommend Review Pro to any hotel is one of the strategic tools when it comes to quality market reputation.
That's amazing. So, I really think that the best way for independent hotels to improve is to gather as many reviews as possible. Look at those reviews and analyze those so to speak bad reviews. Break them down and try to improve on that.
However, I must also put it on the table, and I'm sure many hotel owners or managers listening to me right now, they will have to agree with me whether they like it or not. There is a lot of manipulation in the reviews, and this comes not only from your competitors who don't want you to look great, but also from your internal staff who want you to look great. So it is still possible today to have Google reviews posted, and you don't even need to have any registration besides your Google Mail account. And once you have a Google Mail account, you create another one. And let's say each staff member can post a review under an anonymous Google account, and your median review score in Google will go up. That's why I feel that the Google, in particular the Google reviews, are not a reliable source of information, fortunately. Even though I like Google and I'm very much in favor of Google and many of the tools they're offering, but they have to do some homework when it comes to registering the independent reviews. TripAdvisor is a little bit better. They have better, in my opinion, better filtering system, and they will monitor also the language being used. Is there anything repeating, anything repetitive? Does the review look genuine or not? And usually when it's, let's say it's a 1-star review, then it's already a red flag, in my opinion, because usually 1 star is really either a guest who's very upset and has not been satisfied, which would be a terrible case to give a 1-star review, because this is a total failure of hotel management. Or it is somebody who wants to manipulate your overall score. So again, this can be a competitor, or it can be even a disgruntled staff member. All this has been experienced before, and it is still possible to do it in Google, do it in TripAdvisor, and even, believe it or not,
I definitely agree. That's one of the issues. Reputation, review manipulation,
yes.
either
So
by
will
competitors.
the owner get the true picture by looking at it? I'm not sure, but you should look at the overall scores. Let's say, for example, your total scores in Booking.com when it comes to value for money perception, total score when it comes to service, your total score when it comes to cleanliness, hygiene. I think this can be looked at. But if you overreact the individual reviews, it is very dangerous. Can be very dangerous because you can go the wrong direction.
Yes, you need to have a wider look at the big picture of
Yes.
the
Yes.
whole hotel.
So reputation management is extremely important. That is typically how these independent hotels compete with larger chains in online platforms. They also like to channel more bookings directly to their website. I think it's very important to have better offer and competitive rate website, which I know is challenging. Usually OTAs like Booking.com, Agoda, and so on, they have their representatives, and they will get very upset the moment you drop in your rate below theirs. And you have to have the right answer. But in my opinion, to have a reliable PMS system is very important too. This system for the registration, the front office, the reception, and this for independent hotel owners should be, in my opinion, cloud-based system now these days. These days, this must be cloud-based, so no longer hardware in property. It's all outsourced and offsite. I mentioned one, which is the first one in my mind was, so I think the first true cloud-based PMS system was Cloud Beds, BEDS. And Cloud Beds, it's a very holistic cloud-based system for guest registration and even for channel management of reservations. So the great thing about this system is as an owner, you can actually, through your mobile phone, access the system 24 hours a day. You can be somewhere, let's say in New Zealand, and your hotel is in Malaysia, and you can monitor the rates, the performance of your online reservations directly from wherever you are, anywhere in the world.
Yeah, so we can definitely see that the trend is definitely moving towards more cloud-based digital platforms rather than hardware-based solutions like before.
Right.
So one of the questions was that since we did mention that the larger chain hotels are becoming more and more competitive, and they're leaning more towards independent um, independent games such as the Airbnb. So how can small hotels possibly can uh, compete with larger hotel chains?
I would
How are we
say
able to make the most out of what we have?
I would say here again, all starts with a market research and also the awareness of the marketplace, what's coming up, and to position your hotel correctly, to have the right rate strategy, have the right application management in place, and to have unique niche also is highly commendable. Have niche hotel. Boutique hotels usually have something to talk about, so regarding reputation or regarding to the design, interior design, or concept. And the branding also should be very personalized and very much family oriented. So as an independent hotel, you have to be very, very highly personalized, very efficient in responding. So all this is extremely important. Any request, any question, any reservation should be even on chat answered. In my opinion, within 12 hours latest. I mean, must be in the same day. The response must come on the same day. So all these are processes which need to be looked at. What kind of processes are there in place? To offer quality and standardized services also is extremely important. And this is also where usually smaller players are falling short. They do not have standard operating procedures in place. And here again, white label consulting firms can assist them to provide these procedures and relate training to appear more of an international hotel in a more systematic
Yes.
way. Mystery shoppers is another thing. I'm not sure if you heard about it, but there is a possibility to get a mystery shopper to check in as a regular guest, and he or she is actually a hospitality expert and will, based on brief as an owner, of course, you have previously spoken with mystery shopper, you may have a meeting with the person, and you have shared your concerns and you have shared your standard operating procedures, whatever you have existing in place. Based on these informations, the mystery shopper will come. So normal hotel guest will do operation from reservation point, check experience throughout stay, check out departure. And all this will be reported and usually substantiated by even pictures in some cases, and also names mentioned of staff members that's possible. So to be as detailed as possible and to give this feedback to the owner directly as to where are the challenging shortfalls, where are the areas. Usually as top management or hotel owners, we are being deceived, I call it, when we see our own operation, because our staff usually show the greatest respect towards top management, also
Yes.
towards the
Yes,
hotel
That's
owners.
correct.
Therefore, they're being deceived. They don't get the true picture. They don't see the actual guests arriving and departing throughout their stay. And I think the mystery shopper here can help a lot. This usually takes a minimum 1 night stay in the hotel and comes with a full report thereafter, depending on the size of the property. So, as you mentioned already, Daniel, talent development is critical, and this should be a direct response not only to findings of such mystery shopper, but also to the respective reviews, online reviews, and the trends for online reviews. And Review Pro will tell you exactly where you have to focus when it comes to training development. It's important that we, when we do training, that we don't waste our time. And let's say if we working at a destination where wine is not popular or maybe not a priority, serving wine, training is not critical in a hotel,
Yes.
in my opinion.
yes,
But critical, of course, is guest satisfaction. And that's number one. And how do we delight our guests, and how do we create truly memorable experiences for each individual guest? How to touch them personally, and how to create touch points. All this is really important. So sourcing outside trainers to uplift service quality, overall quality, can be very beneficial. And bring kitchen trainer to train your staff on certain, let's say, menus. Want to create an Indian menu or whatever, or Chinese menu. You can bring somebody trained team or prepare dim sum, for example.
Yes, because a lot of hotels, they also have a private restaurant as well as cafes, right? So not only having a standard operating procedure in terms of checking in and checking out guests and cleaning the rooms, but also to train them on making the right, how do you say, the menu and the food.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Yes, you mentioned a good point here, by the way. This is menu engineering, you call this. And this is a process whereby you analyze the sales over the past, let's say, 1 year period for each menu item, and determine those winners and losers of the menu items. You have to be very straight, because then you have to review the pricing strategy accordingly, for winners and losers, and you have to phase out some of the losers. So it's quite a complex. The menu engineering is actually quite complex, much more complex than I make it sound here. There's actually systems for it you can use, and you can generate it from a system to give you all the true information, how to revise your menu and how to revise your pricing accordingly. And here again, I think where we are falling short many times is to observe the marketplace and the competitors directly. It's extremely important to monitor the activities of the competitors, the promotions they have, the pricing they have as well. And I was in food and beverage just some years ago. Yeah, I also was a food and beverage manager at one time. I frequently went out to collect menus from nearby hotels, and I was looking at the menus in depth and analyze menu items and pricing. This gives you a good idea, as well as we call it, competition shopping, which is whereby hotel management can actually go out on hotel budget and have a meal in the respective competitive hotel, and then observe the service and quality of food and beverage. In some cases, even have a stay in the hotel as well. And this is, of course, an extreme case now, but this should be then higher management. For example, have director of sales checking into another competitive hotel overnight, and then coming back with a report as to what are they doing in this hotel, what is so great, what makes them so great, why can we not compete with this particular property. So it's a little bit like sending a spy into the...
It is a little bit another form of mystery shoppers, but it is this In this case, it's a management.
Another form, yes. And it's, in my opinion, it's all part of marketing. This is all part of marketing because we are not sure about who we are up against, then we are not doing good marketing. We must know exactly who we are and what we stand for, and who are our competitors, what is their strengths, how can best compete against them, what is their weakness as well. In cases car parking, for example, some hotels may not have enough car parking, and this is where we come in. We have ample car parking, so we can promote this free car parking if you stay in our hotel.
Do you think that one of the biggest obstacles for independent hotels to attract new guests is because they don't have something that they can advertise for market for to stand out, right? Because they're not even sure what they want to advertise, what they want to offer.
Correct. Yes. They're not even sure of their own product. They're too busy running their own hotel.
Yes.
And they didn't have enough time to sit back and to find a niche for their hotel, to find a unique concept for their hotel, and to find an angle which they like to promote their hotel. And usually when you bring in an outsider, let's say in this case a consultant, who comes with an outside perspective, who's not part of the management, then you get a true, honest picture of what you should do as a hotel owner when it comes to that, and what you should promote well. And yes, to have frequent promotions is definitely a benefit. But as a hotel owner, in my opinion, the promotion should always focus on rooms rather than food and beverage. And many of those hotel owners are focusing too much on food and beverage. They're forgetting about promoting their rooms, which is actually the core business.
Yes.
Why is that? Because profit or profitability food and beverage is much lower. Only 30-40% profit beverage because of all the overheads and expenses, whereby you have 80% rooms, in some cases 90% profit. So let's focus on the core business. Let's see how to fill the hotel, and then following that, the food and beverage will be no major challenge. That's my opinion.
That's a really great insight, because a lot of hotels, they tend to forget, because they might be seeing that the restaurant or the cafe is doing well, so they're leaning more towards that, when they forget that there's a lot of more overheads, as such as the ingredients and paying the staff, while for all the overheads for the rooms are usually just cleaning and paying for the staff, right?
Yes, usually the two biggest expenses in hotels are utilities and labor costs.
Yes.
These are the two biggest, and that's where food and beverage is suffering greatly, because they also need air conditioning, and they also need gas for cooking. And of course, labor is very intensive in food and beverage. As you know, a restaurant can have 10 staff in a small restaurant. That's already too much, in my opinion. So hotels, let's say budget hotels, have only a reception staff. If you're lucky, there's one overnight.
Yeah.
So yes, the biggest obstacles for hotel owners to encounter or attracting new guests are basically their very own market base, their very own research, which is necessary. They need to know what they would like to project, which market niche they want to go for, and they should find unique positioning for their hotel against the competitive set, directly against the competitive set. And the competitive set should not be more than 5 to 7 properties. If you take more than this in your competitive set, you will get confused. So they should all be within reach, and they should all be the same destination, of course, and should all be ideally nearby your hotel. The location also plays a role, of course.
Yes.
Very often we underestimate the issue of location, but there, unfortunately, we cannot do anything about it, right? I mean, that's already too late. Once the hotel is established, it's already in a specific location. We cannot change the location anymore. That's impossible.
Yes.
So we have to deal with this particular location and find the best purpose for it.
Yes, so no more than 5 to 7 properties in the competitive set, usually in the same location, and ideally they're same around price point, right? Or would you say we should
Yes,
look
yes,
at both?
absolutely. Yes, I agree with you. It should be, of course, also based on, let's say, star rating that still exists. To some extent, it's not even that important anymore for independent boutique hotel owners. Some four-star hotels call themselves luxury already, which is very strange to me because luxury is usually 5 stars, and first class was meant to be 4 stars.
Right.
Previously, that was the kind of the strategy hotels were using. But you're absolutely right. It should be based on when we are selecting the competitive set. It should be based on the first of all the local area, then the rates, the marketplace, the rate competitiveness, and then of course also possible the star rating. So I cannot benchmark a 5-star boutique hotel against a 1-star bed and breakfast. Yeah, this would be pathetic.
That's
That's
definitely
why
true.
this is why also TripAdvisor created a special grouping for hotels, which is B&B. So in TripAdvisor, you will find hotels and you will also find B&B and even other categories as well, as far if I'm not mistaken, to split them from these reviews because a B&B, for example, can compete with a 5-star hotel simply based on personalized service and efficiency of service, and simply by having a very close contact with the guest, a very direct, warm, friendly, welcoming, close contact with the guest. And I've seen this before. I had this marketplace before. I give you an example. Luxor, Egypt, where I was running Jollyville Luxor Island Resort on Kings Island, Egypt, southern Egypt. And there was one small family-owned, I would almost call it bed and breakfast, which took away from us the #1 position in TripAdvisor. I
Wow,
couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. I went to see the place. They
that's
didn't even have a
incredible.
swimming pool. There was not even a swimming pool. And still they managed to get it. And this was simply because of partially manipulation, as I mentioned earlier, the review manipulation, which is
Yes.
very easily possible, and about damaging your competitor, if that's possible, giving them a few 1-star reviews every now and then. And of course, by being very friendly, welcoming to guests, and by giving them special perks if and when they post good reviews for you. This is very direct. This is how small independent hotel owners operate. They give actually a freebie to every guest who gives a good review.
Would you say that it's something that is how you say it should not be encouraged to kind of
Yeah, I mean, I must be honest with you. Of course, I see myself as a hotel owner as well. And
yes.
in this case, I cannot blame them for doing that. I mean, this is a dog eat dog world, and you have to stay competitive. And yes, you have to be. This is all part of marketing, I'm afraid.
Yes.
So then you come to the review sites, and you're asking yourself now, as a guest, do I really get the true picture?
Probably not.
Yeah,
Right.
probably not.
Yes.
In some cases, truly manipulated. For example, if there is a hotel rated 9.5 in Booking.com, maybe 50% of their reviews were posted by their management team, by their staff, and even by guests who actually wanted to give a 4-star review. They actually give them a 5-star review because they've got a free meal. So this is the true insights from the hotel business.
Yes. That is definitely very interesting to look at and discuss.
Now you also asked me about emerging trends.
Yes. So
Small.
apart from moving to the more digitalized services and solutions for hotels, do you see any other emerging trends that small hotel owners should be looking out for?
Yes, I mentioned earlier about not only outsourcing your services in many ways and reducing your overheads, but also uh, going for cloud-based systems when it comes to especially the front office system or reservation system, whatever. This should, in my opinion, all be cloud-based, so you don't need to invest in any hardware like servers, like we used to do in the past. We always had servers in the hotel, and even your music system should be basically in
Yes.
flash drive. Yeah. So everything should be low cost as far as possible and flexible, outsourced, and accessible. The other one I mentioned is online consolidators. I would call it. I call this a consolidation engine online. Review Pro is one of them.
Yes.
There are others. I forget this moment, but this is my favorite. And it basically gives you the true picture of how well are you being perceived in the market when it comes to reviews and guests. You can even have your internal website who's channeled to this source as well, and you get a complete holistic picture of how well are you doing and what are your strengths and weaknesses in the marketplace. And here again, I know personally, I know OTA Insights, and to me that's a great tool. I highly recommend it, but I'm sure there are others as well. I don't want to sell any online tools here, but this is my experience, and from my experience, OTA Insight works extremely well if you monitor it. If you have the top manager in the hotel monitoring, and that's the general manager, it has to be on the actual dashboard of the GM's computer, and the GM has to be responsible and has to be caring about monitoring and driving revenue management. Revenue management, in my opinion, especially in an independent small hotel, there is no revenue manager, let's face it, because they don't have budget. They usually use a reservation person who will have to do this job, but you can't leave this to inexperienced junior staff. It has to
Yes.
be a qualified senior manager experience.
Because revenue management is arguably one of the most important aspects of every hotel.
Yes.
That's why.
And
Yeah.
I see so many good points in your masterclass on your website. I really like this idea. I know you have already posted 2 videos, which I'm yet to watch. I haven't seen them yet, I must be honest, but I will watch them.
No, of course.
And,
Of course.
and I find it very good, creative approach. And you're going very much, in my opinion, the right way, because you're going in a more trendy way, not the old-fashioned way.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
it's not about purely about service training and food quality, blah blah blah. No, it's about the new trends in digitalization, in modern world. We are now living in a modern world where everything is based on QR code and QR scanning. It's the right way to
Yeah,
go.
definitely. That's why. That's why I'm also a big advocate for outsourcing for smaller hotels because it's really a lot to manage. Let's say for a typical independent hotel owner, let's say they're a couple, a family hotel owner, they wouldn't be able to cater to every aspect of the hotel.
And the number one outsourcing usually is housekeeping, laundry. Laundry. Let's put it this way: laundry outsourcing, especially in city hotels, is quite easy to do. And many hotels outsource also security services and in some cases even maintenance services. But here I would be careful. There's a lot of issues here when it comes to integrity, this part of
Yes.
the hotel. Yes.
All right. Well, I think that's all the questions we have for today's interview. Thank you so much, Andreas. That was very insightful.
Great talking to you. Great talking to you, and thank you so much for inviting me for this interview. It's a delight, and I will definitely be very happy to keep monitoring your interesting website and helping you gain more members as well.
Thank you so much, Andreas. Thank you for the call today.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye.